Okay, shall we begin? Warren Select Board meeting, March 25th. Any public comment?
I'd like to make public comment.
Yes, please.
I'd like to thank all of the folks who came out to the town garage and took tours and asked questions and made observations and all that. We had a pretty decent crew on Saturday, and I appreciated it because I think it felt worthwhile for Andrew to sit there for 4 hours. I was afraid he was just going to sit around, wasting his time off, but no, it was good. And I just want to really encourage everybody to encourage everybody else. This is the time to bring comments, questions, suggestions. Do it now. Do it sooner than later. We need to hear everybody's thoughts so that as we get, to a bond vote, hopefully in June, we're up to speed. We don't need 2 weeks before the bond vote to be hearing from people about what they'd like to see differently or what the concerns are. So get the word out. We're going to try to get the word out as much as possible, but now is when we need to hear from people. So,
Agreed.
yeah.
So did you find out from yesterday if the town garage, the new site, is conserved land up above?
No, I didn't actually check that out. Does
Okay.
anybody know what if it's actually conserved?
I don't believe it is. I think that
Jim
part
thought
of the
it-
original
Jim thought it
Act
was.
250 permit was that it would be used at some future date for recreational purposes.
I think Jim Sanford is the one who said it, and I think he was alluding more to the Conservation Commission saying that that was an area that they were focused on, maybe?
Because the thought and the question that I had last night over there, or it was here, but last night.
When we were somebody else.
Yeah, was for the new garage site. I think it's like 80 some odd acres or something.
70-something.
78. So, could you sell acreage up there for housing, to defer the cost of the whole garage? And then the thought was maybe it's conserved or something, or so you might not be able to do that, but.
I don't believe it's conserved. I think it's very steep.
Yeah.
Because there was talk at one point about like a ski hill behind there. So I'm not sure it's the best place for housing.
And that many people would want to be perched right above town garage, but they might.
But they're sitting right next to it over there. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
that's what brought it to
I think
mind.
those houses were already there, but,
Right.
yeah.
So and if the
Yep.
land is
Yeah,
charged or something, and somebody plops a house down,
no charge?
well, you want it to be affordable. That's
I
what
think
I'm
it would be
coming from.
very expensive to
develop that.
because it is quite steep.
Putting roads in.
But as we move through the permitting process, with the Act 250 permit that will be
We'll
required,
understand a
we'll
little better.
understand any restrictions on that land better, and I appreciate the idea.
Yeah.
Any other public comment? All right, agenda changes.
I forgot to put my town admin update on there, so we can do that whenever. We'll do it at the end. If that makes more sense.
Town admin update.
Yeah, I'd rather do it at the beginning.
Okay.
Yeah,
Should we do a
Let's-
town garage update also?
yep. Let's do both of those and then the DRB appointment. Okay, you're up, Rebecca.
Okay. I'll just try to go through this as quickly as possible. The fire department sold their truck, the 2008 Dodge utility
Alan
truck.
Quackenbush here,
Hello.
East Montpelier.
Oh, wait,
Oh,
they're already muted.
No, that's Jim Crafts.
I don't know what that was.
right there.
Is it on a different screen? Hello? Hello, are you there?
Okay.
Okay.
Alien interference.
We sold the fire truck for $23,870. The man came and picked it up last Saturday. All is good. The task force met with Wyman Lampier last week to review the 4 proposals received for the construction manager position. The list has been narrowed down to 2 firms, which will be interviewed on Thursday. Camilla, Devin, and I met with V-Trans on Monday to discuss the intersections at Route 100, Von Braun Road, North Main Street, West Hill Road, and Ellen Lane. Ian DeGudis, I think is how you pronounce his last name. He's a traffic engineer from V-Trans, will conduct a site visit alongside a V-Trans investigator, and they will come back to us in about a month with findings and recommendations. And we also learned in that meeting that any proposed speed limit changes would require a presentation to the Vermont Traffic Committee, which we'll also revisit after V-Trans completes their site visit. Anything else that you guys want to?
In the interim, we were tasked with considering what our desires may be for Ellen Lane.
Yep. And I need to talk to, I told Andrew that was on our list to talk about.
Yeah, and, yeah,
Yep.
talk more about that.
Yeah.
What, next meeting or something? Is that when
Yeah.
you put it on the agenda?
Did I put it?
You put it on.
I tried to do it before
Okay.
I forgot.
Yeah.
So maybe I did
I
it
think you did for the
for
next
next
one.
meeting.
Yep.
Yep.
Sam Crotinger reached out from the Warren Elementary School regarding tree removal. The last discussion was that the select board was in agreement to split the costs, though they were initially unhappy with that decision. Never responded. They've now agreed to split the costs and are asking for clarification on who will approve the contractor and schedule the work. So that's something that we need to
Get an
decide.
MOU figured out, so we
Yeah.
can stop having these
These
conversations.
are the same trees we were discussing last
fall.
Yeah.
fall, summer, fall. Yeah.
Yeah. So we received 2 proposals.
Field, right? Because we also have like a line item for trees.
Correct. They're literally around the school.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're around the backside,
Backside of the
right?
school.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yep.
And we have the 2 contracts,
We have 3 proposals.
3 proposals.
Yep.
So maybe we can put that on next week and
Well-
review those proposals.
I think we had talked about doing the lowest
Yeah, I think we kind of.
cost. I can go back and revisit
I don't
minutes.
Yeah, find out if, I thought we
Yeah.
agreed on that, we said, this is what what we choose, this is what we decide, let the school know.
Mm-hmm.
And then the school didn't like that we said we would split half
Right.
of it, so I thought we had decided what route to go, but does the MOU have give us any guidance on when that kind of work needs to be done, who?
It basically just talks about splitting the cost of the tree removal.
We
I
don't
think.
even have, I mean, the MOU isn't,
I mean, the proposed MOU,
Yeah.
just so that we would be following whatever we had kind of recommended, but
I
I mean,
don't
to me-
remember language.
they were the ones who said they would like to have those trees done.
Yeah.
And we all agreed on who would do it and the price. If I think if I were them, I would prefer to be the ones to manage it. But I suppose
But I think
It's
for them,
hard to sign the
they know when is a
contract.
good time for the kids up there and when isn't.
that's
Mm-hmm.
right.
know.
But as far as signing the contract, both parties
I
should
think
sign
both
the
parties
contract.
should sign it.
Yeah, I think we should try and coordinate together. I think, you and Sam can decide on a day and he, both sign so that we're equally responsible. I think the reason we came to 50-50 was that 2 trees are
Safety
are
and two
safety
are
and 2 are, we would like more light.
elective.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
So that makes sense to me.
Okay.
So both parties sign, and you're saying we coordinate the management of it, or the?
I don't know,
I think we would want to coordinate the work at least.
Yeah,
With the
it's
school.
it's our property, so we need to be involved.
Yeah.
Like
I just
CC
don't want
on
to dedicate
emails.
more of our resources. I mean, who is that? Is that Rebecca? Is that,
Right.
That's fine.
who's,
I think that you just
Managing
ask
tree
Sam to keep you CC'd so you know when it's
Okay.
happening,
Okay.
yeah.
and let him decide when it happens.
Got it. Okay.
And maybe the PTO wants the wood for some of those natural play structures they were
Right,
talking
that's
about.
true.
Maybe there's a way to use those resources
Okay.
if they're any good.
Okay. I
Sorry,
met.
back
Oops.
up.
Go ahead.
Going back to the Route 100 discussion, Do we want to talk about the sign too?
I have it on here.
Okay, great.
Yep.
Sorry.
I met with Mark from the Pitcher Inn regarding the deteriorating conditions of the bricks and cobblestones. Bricks are being damaged by plow trucks and just general parking on them and traffic. The cobblestones are looks like they're requiring resetting and refilling. I've finally been able to be in touch with Mike from Avery Excavating, and they're planning to come out and take a look and give us some pricing.
Great.
Yep. Pitcher Inn has some significant sloping in front of the
Yeah.
building, and it's tracking in a lot of mud, and when it rains they just fill up with water. So and then as you may or may not have heard, the welcome sign was struck over the weekend, resulting in damage to the posts. Fortunately, the sign itself appears undamaged. However, the posts are broken. I've been in touch with Wood and Wood. Eric is planning to stop by to look at the damage and then make some recommendations on repairs and then refurbishment of all of the signs around town, because they're all needing.
Yeah, I've been
They're
noticing
thinking
that
that maybe it was like 1996.
All of the
The
town
welcome
of Warren
signs.
welcome.
Yep.
Yeah, they're looking
Yeah.
How
very
many are there?
shabby.
There's 4 total.
You know, I don't see the signs.
I know, why am I looking at you? I thought now that you knew that you didn't look at them, you probably looked at them.
I do.
Yeah.
And
Is
there
now they're
one-
shabby.
So there's one at the south entrance, the north entrance, coming down Brook Road, and then there's a small sign that comes into the municipal lot.
Oh, right,
Ah,
Yeah.
yes.
That
there's a
one's
sign there.
significantly smaller than
right.
the other 3. So the highway department came and got the sign this morning and brought it over here, so it's here, but the posts are broke.
And did Wood and Wood say if they think they can just refurbish them, like they need a little
He,
sanding and painting? They
Yeah, he said he has to come and look at it.
Okay.
Eric said he would come this week. So with that being said, I think it's something to think about with maybe cameras or something along, that section there with more and more things happening
Yeah.
in such a short period of time. So,
Wait,
In
sorry.
the intersection.
with the intersection of North Main Street.
Who's
Yeah.
doing the damaging?
Yeah,
Who's doing the damaging?
like if we got a game camera or
Yeah,
something.
they're like really inexpensive.
Yeah.
But they'll take a picture
Yeah.
every time a car drives by.
Yeah. So Jeff said he
Have to
would
figure out
would look into that.
whose property we're
We
mounting
think
it
that
on
this
or-
was intentional?
We don't have any idea.
I doubt it.
It was like
No,
2-ish
If somebody
a.m.
had a car accident
Oh.
and then
Yeah.
didn't fess up to it.
Right.
That's,
Right.
Okay.
So, because the
That's up
people
on
that
our
live in the
dime.
apartment building, they heard it. They didn't see anybody, unfortunately. By the time they got out of bed and looked out the window, people were gone. But you could tell they heard the crash.
Right.
So, and
Okay.
I think was it you that just said that Julian and Jess installed a camera, but it wasn't able to get it. So
Bummer.
yeah, exactly. So
Okay.
Take
Yeah.
a picture.
Jeff's looking into it.
yeah, that's all I have.
Cool. Nice job. Lots happening.
Yeah, always.
Yeah. Town garage. I think
actually.
yeah,
Rebecca
Rebecca
just
did it.
did that, yeah. Just that we had
Construction managers.
had our,
So
yeah.
that's the delete, oh, it's the delete piece later. Never mind.
Okay. DRB appointment.
I would like to introduce to you guys, some of you probably already know him, John McCarr,
Hi, John.
lives here in the village. Jeff Shilkoff of the DRB had mentioned to him, any chance you might be interested, because we do have some vacancies. And John did his due diligence, he watched, I don't know, 3 or 4, came and was here 3 or 4 times when the DRB was doing their job. And DRB sat down, had a conversation with him, and agreed that it would be a great match. So we're here to have you hopefully also agree and appoint him as a DRB alternate, because we're down to 1 alternate. We now have a 5-member board.
Good.
Yeah, so, and the other alternate is dealing with some health stuff, but plans to be back hopefully and available. So we really would like John to get up and cooking. So ask your questions, John, share whatever you want with them. They do have the letter that you sent me.
I I haven't read it, so
Okay.
give me a sec just
I
to read
haven't
it. but-
either.
I have a question, it's just a technical question. Is alternates versus whatever
Right.
on the board,
Right.
Chris and I were talking about this. My sense is that an alternate doesn't just attend when one of the regular members isn't there. They can attend any meeting, is that correct?
Well,
know?
we can't have more than 5 at the
You
table.
can't have more than 5.
So-
So I guess it is
Yeah.
only
It's
called
It's a
in.
5-member board, you don't have 6.
Okay, yeah, that would make sense. Okay.
But they could sit in without being a
Well,
voting
If,
member.
yeah,
Anybody from the public can, and, so absolutely. And
I was
over
just-
the years, we've probably had almost as, there have been several quote-unquote alternates
right,
that have been almost like, regular people.
that's probably what it
But,
is.
The main board.
Because you've been absent a regular board member often enough that you have alternates who just
Exactly.
end up taking
Now,
the spot.
the difference I've noticed in the town report is the fact that the 5-member board is for a certain number of years, where alternates are just alternates. They aren't appointed for like a 3-year term.
Are they just appointed every year? They
I
would
guess
have
so,
to
if
be,
there's nothing there, yeah.
they would have to either be
I don't
every
think
year
we've ever
or,
actually done that, technically.
yeah.
We've just been there, thank goodness.
That's a good thing for us to put in our notes.
Yeah.
Any other questions for John?
But you kind of said that you want to be,
Doing something.
yeah,
Yeah.
you want to do more than read the headlines. I think that's awesome. And the fact that you're stepping up and willing to volunteer I'm very, very grateful for that.
And I think the history he has, having lived here,
Yeah.
as long as he has, is also very valuable.
My family, at least.
Yeah, right, yeah,
Family.
yeah.
I'm fascinated to learn that you had a construction business in New York City.
Mhm.
Every time I drive around New York City and look at a construction project, I'm like, wow, that's
Yeah,
a lot of
right.
staging and permits.
Well, it wasn't building buildings. I was an
Okay.
interior apartment renovator.
Cool.
So I didn't erect too many structures, but a couple of bulkheads. That was about
Yeah,
it.
cool.
Just still navigating New York City, which is way more than I have anything to do with. Yeah, great. I have no question.
Okay.
I don't have any questions.
No questions?
Shall we move to
yeah.
appoint John Ricard to the DRB as an alternate?
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? Please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? No.
Thank you,
Welcome.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Thank you.
and
Great.
hopefully maybe we'll even see you at our April 7th meeting.
April 7th, okay.
We'll see who turns up.
I'll be there.
Oh, thank you. I can always count on, well, I
That's the
know a lot.
Lincoln Ave one, right?
Oh. Gonna say you can
Thank
go
you.
on DRB meetings too?
Thank you.
Oh.
No, not
Conservation
for this
Commission? No.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Thank you
thank
very
you
much.
guys.
Thank you, John. You're welcome to stay. It's really very exciting.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks for that. Dinner on the table, I think.
All right, the bond council agreement for an attorney for the town garage bonding process is next on the list. Has everybody had a chance to review the contract?
The one you sent out a while ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Rebecca was hoping to get an estimate from another,
Yeah, I reached out to Primer, Piper, Eggleston, and Kramer, who did the wastewater bond, and they didn't get back to me.
Well, that's not a good sign.
No, exactly.
that's not a good sign. That's true.
So, and I feel like Keith,
Was
like,
very prompt.
yeah,
Yeah. I admittedly don't know how the fees may vary. I imagine they are probably similar, but I don't know. Do you know?
No, I would imagine they're probably similar too.
I my concern is that we don't know.
Yeah, I agree.
So I'm hesitant to,
Do we want to wait another 2 weeks? I mean,
well, what do you mean 2 weeks? To approve it?
yeah,
Oh, I think if we had to, we can call a special
right.
to
Yeah.
approve it. But I just,
Or, kind of
I mean,
a blur.
just saying, yeah, I think this is probably good, and then finding out we could have saved a bunch of money.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I wonder if there, well, first, let's talk about the contract and see if
Yeah.
anybody has any issues. And then if we are comfortable with the contract, maybe there's a way to say that we would approve it, given, similar estimates from another bond, right? Like if we know that it's gonna cost
Right.
within 5% from another firm.
Right.
And we're
Yes.
comfortable with this, then we could, what is the word I'm looking for?
We can approve it with conditions.
Yeah, we could
Or-
conditionally approve it.
I just want to read this again.
I thought it was nice of him to waive the retainer,
Right, right.
and the fee is not due unless or until the bond is secured.
And if it fails, there's no fee?
That's a good question.
I think there's still a fee.
I think there's a fee,
just not
so long as
payable.
we are given the bond by the bond bank.
That's a good question, Perry.
That's a good question, Perry.
Double checking, see if it's in here.
Right. Cannot guarantee success on any given matter,
Yep.
nor do we guarantee that any particular result will be attained by us. So,
That sounds like there's a fee either way.
Sounds
Yeah.
like we pay them,
yeah.
but at the end. Whether it's sweet or sour.
I don't know why it would be any different. They do the work, whether
Yeah.
we manage to.
I agree.
I do like a fixed fee.
Me too.
Yeah. Some savings. %, first. So, $10,000 for work on this bond financing matter.
Mm-hmm.
Bills are due after the financing with the bond bank closes.
His rate is 420 an hour. It's not on there, but. So it's approximately 24 hours of work. Wow, wish I got paid $420.
There could also be some paralegal fees and stuff in there too.
Totally. And
Yeah.
he does say that he'll use other people in the office.
All right, so,
Do you find out if the town wants to do the garage first before you go for the bond and pay the 10 grand?
that, go for the bond with the bond bank, you mean?
Is
Yeah.
part of the process that he helps us
Yeah.
with. So there's like this whole legal and town process, which he explained in that other email. Do you have that easily accessible?
So they're kind of parallel.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
happen
Yeah,
together.
we have to go through certain motions in order to get the approval from the town to go forward with the bond, and we need to meet those standards, and that's what the bond council assures the bond bank of, that we've done all of the things that we need to do. The question of whether or not we would go forward with a bond, I think, is the one that you were actually asking, of like, do we need to seek town approval to even for the
spend the
town
10
garage
grand.
before the bond vote, which I don't think we need to. I think the bond vote is the point
Yeah.
at which we decide
Yeah,
if
yeah.
we're moving forward with
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then, so you're basically deciding to spend the 10 grand now to move forward.
Right. I mean, I'm
Yeah,
not sure
so-
exactly
And
when
if the town
it would.
doesn't like it, we spend the 10 grand.
Again, with the feedback now, we
Yeah.
are engaging, we're spending money, so.
Speak now or forever hold your peace.
You know, it's just, it's wasting, time and money for everybody, so let's talk about it. What was I gonna say?
I just pulled it up, Rebecca. And I can read this to you guys if you'd like, as far as his explanation of the process.
You can read it to me again.
It's relatively short. So step 1 is the select board needs to adopt what is commonly called a necessity resolution, as well as some other resolutions, including a reimbursement resolution. These are done at a called and noticed select board meeting. After that, then the voters are called to a meeting to vote on the bond. There are some other papers that the clerk will need to attest to, and there are posting and publication requirements that I can walk people through at the appropriate time. I can put the step 1 paperwork together once I know a little bit more about the project, specifically the proposed bond amount and the timing you have in mind. And as for step 2, most towns use the bond bank as it often makes the most sense for long-term financing. It sounds like you have that in mind here. Depending on your timing, if you can't line up with the bond bank's offering schedule, typically one in the winter and one in the summer, to meet your construction schedule, you can look at a local lender to do temporary financing through a BAN, or a bond anticipation note, to allow you to do construction earlier. Once step 1 is completed, in either or both events, I can help with the documentation of that borrowing, sign the bank's,
The saying, but yeah.
saying the bank's or the bond bank's documents. As for the fees for bond counsel work, I'd like to do a fixed fee in order to give you the certainty of costs, and there's some efficiency when I represent more than one borrower in a deal which is possible for a bond bank offering. So he typically charges 0.25%, but he caps it at $10,000, which represents 0.125% as his fee for this work, with an estimated bond cost of $8 million.
Right.
I guess
Between
my
8 and
question is-
12 is what he.
Yeah, but the 10,000 is 0.125% of 8 million.
Oh, I see, yeah.
So they cap it once the bond request is over 4 million.
Yeah, I guess my question is maybe like a kind of a chicken and the egg thing, you know. I don't even know how to ask the question. Like what if everybody in the town doesn't like the garage idea?
Yeah, so, and when I was just reading this, and that was what I was imagining you were getting at, it sounds to me, and we should clarify with Keith, that step 1 gets us to the bond vote with the town. And so if at that point, the town votes down going for a bond, what do we owe him?
Right.
Exactly, yeah.
At what point does the meter start running?
Right.
Are you drafting an email in real time?
Yep. Not drafting an email, but
Sure.
I'm writing it down.
Excellent, yes, thank you. I would imagine he'll be tracking his time and probably bill whatever has been used to that point.
Yeah, a milestone payment schedule would not be the worst idea.
We could probably ask for that. I don't think it does say
I
that,
mean, it's like just a one big fixed fee,
Yeah,
which is
yeah.
also understandable why he wouldn't want to necessarily do that, but
Yeah.
if we're worried about getting past that initial step, then I think there's a reason why we'd ask for that.
So how, are you emailing him? Is that the idea, or how are we getting answers to these questions?
Do you want me
Are
to
you
email
having-
him tomorrow, Devin?
that would be great.
Okay, yep.
And let's ask, what happens if the bond vote fails? How much do we owe at that point? And is there a possibility for a milestone payment schedule? Yeah, sort of like step 1 and step 2,
Okay.
right? think those are important questions to get
Yeah.
answered, and we'll see what happens. Maybe we can, there were 3 different I think you had given us a recommendation for 3 different
Counselors.
law offices
Councils,
for
yeah.
council.
Yeah.
Maybe the 3rd one. even
I can
though-
reach out to them.
Yeah. See what they say. And I'm curious if Josh Schwartz might have some
That's what
information
I
on
was
that.
gonna say, when we talk to him on Friday, maybe he can shed some light.
Yeah. Great. Any other questions on the bond council agreement?
No?
Nope.
All right, let's move on to the truck purchase. Is that you,
Rebecca,
Camilla,
you
or
have
Rebecca?
Update on that, well, yeah. Did you write it out?
I wrote a little bit, I wrote Andrew's notes out.
Okay. Andrew has come to us with a question regarding replacement of trucks, the truck replacement schedule. We've ordered his truck, which is due for replacement in 2025. That was ordered. It is looking like that's not going to come in time for winter of 2025, 26.
Right.
So it actually
Yeah.
won't be getting here in the schedule. In the meantime, he's been notified that there is a truck. So, and then there's another truck for replacement, the backup truck.
The spare truck, yeah.
Spare truck, they call it, which they actually use a lot, but the spare truck is due for replacement the following year. He's been notified that there is a truck already on order that we may be able to purchase that would actually get here before his truck. So
This is stock. There's, you know,
Right.
you can't
it's not a.
piecemeal it
yeah.
together.
Yeah. So what he was trying to figure out is the money situation with that.
Yeah.
Basically, and we've checked with Dana. We had how much? What was the
There's,
3?
Once we put the 280,000 that was approved for the capital budget this year, there'll be roughly 670,000 in the capital account.
And the
And
truck that Andrew already ordered.
Andrew's truck is 310,000.
And have we paid anything toward it?
We have not.
No.
We
So-
ordered it.
so
we
it
didn't
will
We've
come in.
ordered it.
And we pay it when it comes in.
Correct.
So it's gonna hit us next.
Well, we don't know.
Well,
We don't
It might
know.
show up in December.
Yeah, it
Exactly.
could be December, could be May or whatever, March.
They told him the earliest, he's probably looking at February of 2026 for his truck that he ordered.
Okay, so that would be next year.
Yes.
Okay.
But we need to have the money just in case it does come in. Because obviously the money will be due because he's special ordered it.
Okay.
Yep.
And the other truck?
The other truck is 280,000-ish.
Okay.
I didn't get that final number from him.
Yeah, 180 plus 106, 290 for the Western Star. And then the International is 311. So 311 is
Yeah.
his truck,
Correct.
right?
Yep.
Yep. And then 290.
Okay, it's 290.
These are plow trucks.
Correct.
Yep.
Just clarifying for
Those
300
with plow.
grand. Bulletproof glass, diamond shifter.
So, worst case scenario, if neither truck's completed before winter, we'd be without a backup truck until one of them is finished. Financially,
Well, only because we could use. I mean, we have the current backup, but the idea is to see if we can get trade-in on
Right.
that truck. So
To help
worst
offset the
worst
cost.
case scenario, he would have to give that
That
for
truck
trade-in
up.
now, and wouldn't have that backup if wouldn't have that backup until he gets the newest one, which should be there in December. the second truck.
Yep.
Okay, so we aren't positive on when the
Spare truck.
spare truck will actually be here either, even though it's
The
already
spare
ordered.
truck, oh,
Winter of
the one that's,
25.
the one that's ordered is Andrew's replacement.
Yeah.
The one that
Understood.
we would be, oh, you mean, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, they're saying what, November, December, 2025? So sooner than Andrew's
Andrew's
truck,
truck,
which
yeah.
we ordered last year.
However, we have to trade in a truck in order to get it.
We don't have to.
We don't have to, so that was the update that Andrew
yeah.
called me with this afternoon. Allegiance, which is who has the spare truck, they want to do a complete DOT inspection on our trade-in.
Which is
It's corporate that's basically saying this. So Dan from Allegiance came, looked at the truck, and then called Andrew today and said, at this point, you know, without an inspection, we could probably get roughly 30,000 for it.
Oh, okay.
Andrew feels that that truck is worth at least 40 to 50,000.
Really?
So,
So,
but they
does
have
he
to
want
come
them-
and physically get the trade-in and bring it up to Allegiance, do the full inspection. Doesn't mean that we'll get 40 to 50,000 for it.
Does
But
the inspection cost us anything?
it could potentially cost us. He couldn't give Andrew a final answer on that. So,
We
however,
might decide to
We're
charge
really
you
just,
money.
we're really just giving an update right
yes,
now.
we don't have to make any decisions.
Okay.
Because we just got that information on the trade-in,
Yeah.
but just kind of putting it out there.
So it seems reasonable to me to get the backup truck early,
Yeah.
if it will in fact arrive in 2025.
Right.
And then Andrew's truck comes later in 2026.
Yeah.
Which meets the normal schedule, although they're
Yeah.
flipped.
Right.
And
Exactly.
worst case scenario, 290 and 310,
Right.
we're still under the
Exactly.
6 something that we have in the account.
Yep.
So
We
we
have the money
could
to do it.
buy them if we had to in the same year.
Yep.
Yeah, and I believe that the Western Star,
Andrews.
that the one that we're talking about possibly purchasing, they have asked us to give 200 grand in May for
Yeah.
that. So that we would be putting some money down
Yeah.
ahead on. So
That's the
would be-
backup truck.
that's the backup truck.
Okay. The
It would be Andrew's
international
primary
is
until we
Andrews.
get this. Yes.
Okay. And is Andrew looking into
Andrews is
the
a Western Star.
possibility
It doesn't
of-
matter, but Andrews
Oh.
is the Western
Oh,
Star.
it is?
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
what I
had
thought.
it opposite.
Yeah.
Is he looking into the possibility of like a private sale for the old backup truck?
So, according to our procurement policies, we have to list it. He's already had somebody reach out to him that bought the other highway truck that we just sold, I don't know, 6-8 months ago. He loves that truck, says it was great, and if they ever have another truck for sale, he wants to be updated about it because he is really interested. But we have to post it for sale. So there is an interested party. Doesn't mean that he's going to give us 40,000 for it.
Right.
So, and Allegiance is fine not taking a trade. They,
They are? Okay.
yes,
Still.
they haven't said, like, well, if you don't have a trade, we're not doing the truck thing.
Okay.
But,
Why would they care? They just
Exactly.
want to get paid.
exactly.
Okay, so Andrew is still in the deciding process
Yes.
of how to manage that. And I'm sure part of that conversation is, are they gonna charge us for an inspection?
Correct.
Yeah.
So he was gonna try to talk to Dan a little bit more. Dan called him this afternoon at like 3:30. He was already home. So, but he called and updated me so that we could give you guys an update.
Great,
So
thank you.
he may have more information by Thursday afternoon. After the construction manager
Okay,
meeting. So,
okay,
but that's it for now.
great. Okay, Warren PTO project manager contract.
We are running ahead of schedule, just wanna let you know.
It's fine.
Well, I'm just saying it in case other people are joining.
Oh.
Um,
How far ahead are we?
We're 10 minutes ahead, so.
I gotta look back and add a question on this. I don't know if I wrote it down. assume all those folks online are here for the PTO stuff, not something else.
Over the pavilion, maybe?
No pavilion, yeah.
Camilla, are you looking for something that you want to raise?
I just gotta, I didn't write it down, so.
I have one thing that I'd raise,
Yeah.
and that's just that we have those quarterly payments of $5,000. And so just noting that we're at the end of the quarter.
Yeah.
So do we want to change that at all in the payment schedule? And that's it.
So one of the questions I think that I had was, is there a scope of time on this contract? It doesn't actually state.
Well, the ARPA funds, which are being used to pay for it, need to be spent by the end of 2026.
In other words,
So this contract has to be complete by December 31st, 2026.
2026, but we're not paying them
For
5,000
2026, we're
yeah.
paying them for 2025.
$5,000 a quarter for 2 years. That's right.
Right.
So,
It's
so we should
20,000.
have a scope, I mean, the total contract is $20,000.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe we can can we just adjust it by a quarter and just put dates in here of like
Yeah.
from April to March of 2026, basically. April 2025 to,
Well, that's interesting. Do we want it to only go for 1 year or?
We're not committing to spending more money than that.
No, definitely not. But should the 20,000, I guess I always thought that it was through 2026. Like I'm just having that realization now. And that would have made it $2,500
Right.
per quarter,
Right.
right? Do you remember? I don't remember how we got to quarterly payments of 5,000 for 1 year.
Don't either. We talked, I think
Well,
it was,
we waste
at our
some
last-
conversation at this point with her. We said a 1-year contract, have we said 2 year?
No, I think we've always talked about it expiring by the end of 2026.
yeah,
Okay, then we should adjust that.
And it actually would mean that it's
Wouldn't-
7 quarters. 7, because we're already 1 quarter in. So we would divide the 20,000 over, right? I mean, she hasn't been working, we hadn't hired
Right.
her.
She hasn't been hired yet, so she's not.
Yeah,
So it wouldn't start until whenever we,
approve the contract.
yeah.
So maybe that language can change just to equal payments distributed quarterly through the end of 2026, totaling $20,000. Thoughts?
That's fine. Not to exceed.
Not to exceed.
okay.
And then there's, under the termination agreement, how many days written notice do we think is appropriate? We have to fill that in.
Do we have that language elsewhere? Another contract?
In any of our personnel policies maybe? I mean, Vermont is an at-will hire state, so
Yeah.
it's not
I want some more, Mom.
I want some
This
more.
is,
I do too.
this is a
what it is.
contract, this is not,
Right. This is non-employment.
I would say 14.
yeah, this is
Just call it
not
a-
employment, this is no taxes are being taken out of this, right? This is a straight payment.
From ARPA
She's-
funds.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So,
Correct.
Yeah, so it's not really an employment agreement, it's a contractual.
So it's a
Yes.
subcontractor.
I've talked to Rachel a little bit, and it sounds like she has been doing work. I'm not sure her understanding of the contract versus, it didn't sound like she fully understood or might understand exactly how she's getting paid yet. So I know that she has been putting in a lot of work into a website to create, a platform for this project and things like that. So, just so you know, she has been moving forward since there hasn't been a lot of, I guess, discussion since the last conversation you had with her. I don't know. Just so you know.
Yeah, thank
That's
you.
helpful.
So,
And I think we also talked about when we interviewed her that this would be, we saw this once she was paid the 20,000. This is going to go further than that because to complete the project, we're not going to, we couldn't fund her to complete the whole playground structure.
Right.
So this was just to help with,
Getting
grant
it
management.
Yeah.
so
And
I
project
have in
development.
my notes, or maybe this is, I have proposal, ARPA playground funds proposal. $5,000 for the first 6 months, 2,500 right away, 2,500 in 3 months, and then review then for the next 6 months.
Yeah, thank you.
That's how,
That's how we had talked about laying it out.
right.
So it's 2,500 quarterly to be finished by the end of 2026 with a review after 6
After
months.
6 months. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's. Oops, sorry.
Okay, thank you. For
Kick you
taking
under the
notes.
table.
No, for taking notes.
Quarterly payments. So who drew this up?
Rebecca.
Oh, okay.
Rebecca and
Yeah, Kaylee and I
Okay.
worked on this. I think we did this in executive session, so I don't think there were any minutes. So.
No, that's all
I'm
right.
just picking on you.
I am allowed to take minutes, they just would be on the record.
Got it.
So we want to change the payment structure on here. But it sounds like somebody needs to talk to Rachel because, now when are we gonna get this signed? When is she officially starting?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like in our conversation, she, as Jess just confirmed, had every intention of sort of like getting going on it.
Yeah.
With the understanding that this was forthcoming. And it has, like most of this process, taken
Yeah.
a little longer than I think we all hoped. So I wonder if we can approve with the changes that we're asking for now so that, I can sign it once it's edited and get it over to Rachel.
Can we read that change and, yep, make that,
Yeah.
yep, motion?
So Rebecca, did you draft anything for the payment structure or how we'd like to see that written, or do we can do that now?
So, $2,500 quarterly. Contract ending
December 31st, 2026.
with a review.
After 6 months. So that will be at the end of the second quarter of 2025.
Okay.
For a total of no more than
20.
$20,000.
What else? I guess I'd like to just, as far as confirming that Rachel has been doing work for the past 3 months, I'm sure she can just update us on what she has done. And let's request that.
Okay.
Jess, you came on.
Yeah, sorry, I'm doing a hair treatment right now. So, I was just wondering, this is something that the town is overseeing, right? Like the monitoring the work and the progress obviously for payments and the hourly, all of this is being overseen by the town.
Yes.
What, payments
Okay.
to Rachel? Payment?
Yeah, not so much the payments, but just like as far as like the work and, she's just checking in with the PTO, or is the town taking, I guess I'm just not clear with like the delineation of responsibility between the town and the school at this point. Up until this point, it has been just the PTO doing all the things, and we're getting the playground structure that the town helped pay for with the ARPA funds installed, I believe, in over April break, which is super exciting. So I'm just wondering how how the delineation of responsibility is being laid out now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you seen, you probably haven't seen this job description and contract?
I saw the job description that was originally posted, months ago when you were
Yeah.
first looking for a person.
Yeah. So that's
and then-
been used to develop the contract. And
Okay, great.
So it lays out, who's doing what, and the project manager, quote, is responsible for developing and managing a pipeline of current and prospective grant funders that align with the WPTO's priorities. Through
Okay.
planned research, identification, development, cultivation, stewardship, compliance, and reporting activities. The
Yep.
manager will submit proposals and manage awards in support of the WPTO's mission and operating goals. So they're also pretty clear in the grant and project management that they are to work with the WPTO to ensure that they're informed of the requirements of grant contracts and assist in advising on how best to navigate any necessary changes through communication with funders. They interface with the WPTO to ensure the appropriate tracking towards agreed upon goals for grant writing, program design, and organizational development. Execute
and I think
oversee projects.
and I think Rachel will be. I just want to make sure that I think that all that is great. So I will just look back over the original posting for the job.
Yep.
And that's a great place for me to start to make sure that I understand how
Yeah, and then
is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, and then let's keep the line of dialogue open, right? Like if you're not getting what you need from Rachel, talk to us and we can talk with her, or we'll call a meeting and all sit down together. Let's just keep it fluid.
Or if the communication structures and responsibilities feel like they're breaking down, we can also have those conversations
Yes.
between the town
Yeah,
and
no.
the PTO.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think like the whole goal, that the vision that we had with this space is that it becomes a really beautiful and integrated community space. So, we had Sean Kimmin join the rec committee as, PTO liaison because at the request of the town. And I just want to make sure that I understood. But like I said, I'll just refer back to the posting that you did to make sure that I have full understanding of the responsibilities. I think that, Rachel was a wonderful choice on your part. So thank you. And, we really appreciate everything that the town has contributed so far and continues to support through this $20,000 that you're, have allocated towards a project manager. So we are very grateful, and I think that the community will hopefully see all of the fruits of the labor and continued progress.
So, Jess, thanks for bringing that up. Actually, for my clarification, I want to be clear that the only management the town is doing is of the grant project manager.
Yes.
We're not managing the project. We are not responsible
Correct.
for the project. We're not responsible for what's happening on the ground there. That's the PTO.
Yes.
We've given the PTO money. We have agreed to manage a project manager because that was a requirement of the money that we gave, but we're not having anything to do with the project itself.
We will be responsible for dispersing funds of any other grants received unless otherwise agreed to, as is written in this.
So we are then obligating ourselves to essentially manage the PTO to make sure they get it done because we are the ones who are really responsible for completing the work for the grant,
For ARPA.
for ARPA.
The ARPA funds
In other words,
the ARPA funds are
if,
done.
if the PTO all falls apart and they're not getting it done, is the town taking on the responsibility of completing it?
I'm not sure what it is because we don't have an it to
playground?
complete.
Yeah.
So there's a design that they're going to continue to work toward some level of completion. The $20,000 that we've agreed to give Rachel
Yeah.
is intended to allow her to look for more grant funding and use the money that we've already given her to leverage that to garner more funds. She's responsible
I get
for
the Rachel
managing
part.
the grant.
Right. I guess what I'm trying to get at is, I think that the understanding out there is that the town is giving money to support redevelopment of the playground. I just want to be clear that the town is not offering to take on that responsibility if it doesn't happen, if nothing more happens.
Right.
They bought the playground structure. If it doesn't get installed, the town's not saying we will be taking on that responsibility.
No, if it
Nobody's expecting
doesn't
that.
get done, then we hire a new Rachel. Because we have. that's what-
Rachel
that's-
is who we have hired to make sure that
Correct.
it gets done.
Okay.
She's the project manager.
She's the project manager.
Yep.
She has to get
Correct.
other
She's the
people
project
to get it done.
Yes.
Yes,
Not the town.
Correct.
correct.
Yeah.
And the only time the town's gonna get involved with the actual project is if she has to leverage a grant through the town of Warren.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
Because
Otherwise.
often they're only eligible to municipalities.
Correct.
In which case the
Yeah.
money filters through us.
Yeah.
And we have that
I-
written in the grant expectations
Yep.
section too.
I think that there's kind of like a third layer here of like just responsibility for the land and space in general, which I think would be clarified more through the MOU, which hasn't come up lately, but that was, put on the back burner at some point. I know that the PTO had been mentioned in the MOU, so I'm sure that will come up again. It's not something that needs to be brought up at this moment, but it is, I do want to make sure that, again, like the PTO is not ultimately responsible for is not assuming responsibility for the playground either. Like we are a volunteer organization that has donated a playground through a grant that we applied for through the town.
Yeah.
We are not individually going to be held responsible as a volunteer organization for doing anything more than we've already said we would do, which was install a structure and attempt to continue to do our best efforts to raise money and, work with the project manager that has been allocated by the town. And, we had, like I said, we had somebody join the rec committee to try to work with the town, but the delineation of responsibility between the town and the school district is not necessarily the responsibility of the PTO.
Right, and I think you're alluding to what I'm concerned about.
Yeah.
We don't have a good understanding of who is responsible for that playground. In the condition it's in any future condition.
Agreed.
We've got to.
And I think that might be out of the scope of the conversation for tonight.
I
feel
realize
like,
that it is.
I feel like
I think so,
tonight
yeah.
it's only the conversation of how are we getting this ARPA grant done, and then how are we leveraging that for potential more funding in the future.
Yeah.
But the
I understand that
managed
it's
in the future
different.
is
I
the-
bring it up because
Yeah.
I expressed to all of you my concern about taking such a large amount of our ARPA funds and putting them towards the playground. That still feels a little nebulous to me.
Yeah.
So I'm just putting it on the.
I think that
I'm
I think that the ARPA funds that were provided by the town will achieve the goal of the grant that the ARPA grant was set out to accomplish, which is transformation within our community space. I think that it will allow access to a variety of individuals who haven't in our district been seen at, before as being ADA compliant. The whole goal, as it was written, of the ARPA grant was to create meaningful and noticeable transformation within the town. And I think that the town has accomplished that by awarding a large portion of the grant to the Brookfield space that we're trying to achieve up there. It's not just utilized again by the school, it's a community space for sure. Any day you go up there, there's often tons of people especially in the summer, from out of town. So I think that I disagree with the sort of ethereal nature that you're alluding to. The town donation will provide the play structure that we asked for.
Yeah, Jess,
I was just
think
asking
Camilla
for
agrees.
clarity about Rachel's position, which Devin said to just refer to the original posting, which I'll do.
Yep.
And then in response to your questioning, I was just also saying that I think that would be more of an MOU conversation.
Yeah, and you're right, and we need to do that, and it has actually come up a number of times, and
Even tonight.
So
Sorry, I was a little bit late.
no, that's okay. It's okay. It's just it's on the forefront of our minds, and we're trying to get it done. It's sort of been caught in the world of the legal teams.
Yeah.
So stay tuned, and yes, I think we will probably need to pull the PTO in on that conversation.
Yeah, I mean, definitely the PTO is going to be specifically named in the MOU. I don't think it's typical that
and
volunteer.
to that end, though, Jess, I think what Camilla's concerned about is, nobody wants to take responsibility for the playground, but then everybody wants ownership of the playground. But so it's kind of challenging, especially when we think about the town taking on liability for a project that we then don't have control over, right? So it's just a challenging situation, and I think that through the MOU we will work through it, and we will find somewhere that we're comfortable with. And in the meantime, I think Rachel's going to do great work, and we're all really excited about the structure.
Absolutely, yeah. We can wrap this up and talk about, the MOU in the future.
Cool.
We continue to appreciate everything, and I don't, I have my own personal opinions about town versus school district, versus where, the PTO specifically would fall in this, but,
Yeah. Well, we'll dig into
we
that
can follow up.
at another date.
Yeah. Thank you so much again. I mean, I think that it's going to be incredible.
Thank you.
Thanks for all you do.
Well, absolutely, to you guys also, thank you for all you do. I'm still trying to find people to join you in your efforts. I know that you're down a few, so I'm doing my best to recruit the masses here to find someone.
Thank you.
Thank you, we appreciate it.
Okay, so we've made some edits. We've got 14 days written notice, is that what we decided? We've modified the payment structure to read, are you able to read that back to us, do you think, or no?
Yes. Quarterly payments of $2,500 not to exceed $20,000. Contract ending December 31st, 2026. Review after 6 months, which is the second quarter of 2025, and payments will be made the last quarter of each month. Or last month of each quarter.
Yeah.
I would like to have Nick look at this. I know that's
Yeah.
gonna delay it even more,
Yeah,
but
I think it's a
I
good
think
idea.
there's just
Yeah.
a lot of moving parts,
Yeah,
Thank you.
so.
I agree.
Yes.
I think you're right. Let's do it.
Okay.
Sorry, Rachel. Thank you for your continued patience, wherever you are. Okay, anything else on the project manager contract? No. Let's move on to the pavilion update.
Hey, I have a lovely update here from the contractor for the pavilion. I'll just read it out. It says, "We are pleased to share an update on the pavilion project. As many of you know, we have been working hard to bring this community space to life, and we're excited about the progress we've made. As a reminder, we had previously been granted an extension to complete the project by the end of May due to a combination of employment challenges, weather-related delays, and our ongoing commitment to ensuring steady work for our team. Currently, we are in the process of construction and are looking forward to the raising of the pavilion in April, the date TBD. We will announce the specific date as soon as it is confirmed through Front Porch Forum, the town website, and the Valley Reporter. Additionally, we are actively seeking volunteers to assist with both the build-out and the raising. If you would like to lend a hand and be part of this exciting community project, please reach out to us. Your support is greatly appreciated. We look forward to completing the project by the end of May and are grateful for the continued patience and enthusiasm from the community. Thank you."
Thank you. Thank you for reading it. Thank you, contractor.
You're welcome. Any questions?
Yes, I have a question. This is Jim Crafts.
Hi, Jim.
How do we connect with you if we want to help?
Yeah.
That's a great question.
You you can find me through my website, which is CorriganKleinArtisanBuilders.com, and
Maybe we could do a sign up. Is there? Maybe we could do a sign up on
It
the
needs to be
town
through the-
website.
yeah,
Yep.
you can go through my website, and if you need contact information for me that you can't find, I think you can ask Rebecca, and she has my permission to dole that out.
Okay, so just through your website, we'll get your email, and then we'll say,
It will.
we're interested in the following things to help with, and we'll go from there?
Definitely, yeah. You can Google search me. I am findable.
Would it be appropriate to put something in Front Porch Forum now that says we're looking for volunteers for these specific tasks, ABC?
Yeah. I think that's a great idea. And
So,
yes, Jim?
so Devin, my second part, and I don't mean to interrupt here, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Is that, can we make like the raising a real big deal? Kind of like
I
the olden days?
Yeah, I mean, I think we'd really like to do that. Taylor is sort of envisioning, because it's a really complex roof structure, he's wanting to put the roof together on the ground, which lends itself well to people helping because it's less dangerous, and then fly the whole roof onto the structure. So yes, I just, as in my experience with timber frames, we have to be a little bit fluid because,
Sure. Yeah.
we're gonna plan for, you know, this day and we're gonna get a thunderstorm and we're gonna push it to the next day or something will happen. So we're gonna have sort of a window of time and hope that people can be flexible there. And I would love to see it be like a traditional barn raising. And I think Rebecca and I have talked in the past about how do we make it an event of that nature with like food. You know, when I do this for our business, I'll cook up a big pot of venison stew and offer food to people who come help. I can imagine something like that if that maybe is part of the volunteer effort.
Right.
We have a hand up on the.
Yeah, Alex McClay here for the
Hi,
library. Hi, and it's very clear I am not doing hair treatment.
Thought you were.
But anyway, so I think, of course, the library and all of our newsletter people and everybody would want to be informed of the date with enough time to promote it in as much time as we can. And as you said, Devin, it has to be fluid, but maybe even just a window of, and obviously, hopefully a weekend, particularly for so many out-of-towners who are a part of the community, the library community, the town community, who maybe in mid-April, late April, might not be here, just saying, because it's, you know, and there's school vacation, that third week of April, so all of that is something to take into consideration in planning, in addition to your timetable for the raising of the roof and what it takes to get it there and get people to help. I know you could get a ton of volunteers, so I just wanted to be extra special, insistent that that is some sort of time frame that isn't like, whoa, all of a sudden, and, you know, there's some planning.
Yeah, so Alex, can you, just for clarification, are you suggesting it should be on a weekend, but not during April vacation? Is that what I heard you say?
I'm wondering if April vacation isn't a good time just because of the number of town people who are out of town, maybe. I don't actually know. Not having kids in school anymore, I don't know what April vacation means, except maybe that third week of April is like a real time to do something fun.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what you make it, you know?
You know, admittedly, I want to be mindful of the fact that we are on deadline, and therefore, as soon as I am able to raise the structure, I'd like to do so. So
I just wanted to put forth for the library, I'm attending on behalf of the library board to say, you know, we want to know, we want to put it out, we want to get all the people who we asked to put money into it to come by to celebrate, or, you know, just know that it's happening, let them know that what they donated is going to something fabulous.
I think too, Alex, that we ought to, that the raising is one part of it, but I think that we ought to be thinking about once it's completed.
Ribbon cutting.
Yeah, exactly. Some
Yeah.
gathering of some
But
kind.
also anything we can put out that is more concrete than we don't know, which has been the case up to now. I've had plenty of people who've donated say, what's going on? You know, so I know that, and I've said, well, we know we had an extension, it's happened, it's going to happen, the foundation's there, look. But so any sort of updating, even if it's not a date yet, but a potential date or a potential time or a potential, you know, hope for barn raising and then a summer thing happening. You know, the library is also celebrating 125 years, so we're excited about doing that throughout the whole year, so we can tie it in.
Yeah.
What's the deadline?
The deadline is the end of May. So Alex, you and the library are welcome to start planning and talking about a ceremony, a ribbon cutting that follows that date. The nature of timber framing is such that it happens in a workshop off-site, so it's really not uncommon that you don't see much until all of a sudden it's there. So I apologize if that's confusing to other people, but we are working on it. And
do you have a picture? Do you have a picture of the timbers being cut?
I do.
Or
Yeah.
anything like that that you could send the library, that we
Sure.
could send in our monthly newsletter out?
Sure, yeah.
Which would be very cool.
I have a whole
You know,
stack
people
of
would go,
timbers
"Wow."
that are sitting there cut
So-
and ready to go, that are waiting.
Yeah, send that to Marie if you could. And say, put that in your newsletter. You know, I think
The PTO would also love all of this information. I just wanted to add because, you know, we also want to support and promote this as donors to the project. And I think that again, it's an important community building. So, even if it's over April break or whenever it might happen, we want to make sure that we can get as many families there as possible as supporters of the library programming, because that's really important to the PTO also. You know, we are absolutely supporters of the library. So just if there's anything going out there, we would love to help promote that as well.
Okay, thank you both for being excited about sharing.
Yeah,
I'm super excited.
we've also
Yeah,
started
thank
to
you.
talk about a community day.
And Jess,
For that.
can I get a treatment?
I mean, your hair looks fabulous, Alex, so.
Thank you, ladies. Any other questions about the pavilion update? Okay. Prioritizing our project list. Are we ready? Camilla's really excited.
I am really
She
excited.
has
Well,
an excited face on.
you know, when I looked at the list that we made, it started to feel a little bit to me like there were select board priorities, like that we really have to put, you know, our time into, and other things that we can support and
Delegate.
Yeah.
I like delegating.
So, you know, for instance, with some of the maintenance things that need to be done, the steps and the painting and all of that, I bumped up to the higher on the list than hiring this maintenance person, because that will kind of help take care of a lot of those individual items, rather than us putting those items on our list.
I think I misunderstood you. You bumped the hiring of a person to the top.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, well, near the top.
Yeah. Okay.
How do we want to
wanna
do this? Can we have
Rebecca,
a?
do you want to join the meeting and share your screen? Is that the easiest way?
The hard part for me is that I'm also taking action
I
item
can
notes.
I can share my screen.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can
And
join the
then
meeting
create
and share
another
screen.
column with priority.
I have to remember how to get there. I can use the agenda.
Just mute yourself, yes.
Definitely. You don't want reverb?
My favorite.
Do you know how to make her a co-host?
Recording in progress.
Is it under host tools?
Yeah. Oh, you might have to click on Devin. Yeah. Yep.
Make co-host.
And then Devin, you can share your screen.
It wanted permission. Sorry. My computer wanted permission to allow me to share. So it's just giving
Got
me
it.
a second.
It also just kicked you out of the meeting.
Yeah, because I had to leave to quit and reopen. Sorry. I'll be back. I'm coming back, team. Don't worry. But as far as how we want to prioritize, maybe we can use like some color coding in our current spreadsheet to bring things
That's a great
to
idea.
high priority. And then if we feel like we need to reorganize that somehow, we can.
It would also be helpful to put some dates to things. Just
What?
Just thinking about
Kaylee.
accountability, it would be helpful for me
End of
because I am a very
2025.
deadline driven person.
That's a good thing. I think this is the pen I stole from you yesterday.
You can have it.
Thanks.
Looking a little rough.
All mine seem to be dying.
Do I need to make your calls again?
I think you already did.
Okay, great. Yep. Allow. You're on there. You can see your screen.
I'm here
Yes.
officially.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care that I can't hear anything. Where is it? Here.
You're gonna want to make it bigger.
Hmm.
Big enough?
Good enough.
I can go bigger. Just can't get the whole screen.
Right.
Do you want it bigger?
That's fine.
Okay. Okay.
You want to start with my list?
Yeah, I do. Definitely. Town garage.
STR.
Mm-hmm.
Low hanging fruit. Ish.
Okay, so high priority. What's our color?
Green.
Here are all your options.
Green.
Light green, dark green, neon green.
Neon.
Neon.
Green.
Okay.
And then I have looters. That's mine.
Are they neon green?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Can everything be neon?
No. Okay.
And the town garage.
Yeah.
Those are my top 3. Yeah.
LHMP should be green. It's the local hazard mitigation plan.
Right.
It's down
Since
under
we're late on
town
it anyway, is that
issues.
right?
Can you-
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's down in the middle, under the Norm Robinson culvert. Keep going, keep going.
Oh,
keep going.
sorry. Thank you. So I'm, what, as far as overhang, some of these things
Yeah.
are delegated, sort of to, or, these are big things, right? These are gonna take a lot of time and energy from us.
I don't. I
I'm
don't
just-
know if they're going to take a lot of time.
Okay.
The STR thing, I think, is just we're waiting for VLCT.
Yeah.
We've got to push. We got to stay on it.
Okay.
Where,
Yep.
you know, where are you? Get it on the agenda as soon as we get it back and make sure it happens.
Right. Okay. So, and then. There are some, let's go to maybe the next tier, which includes sort of some commitments that we've made that we think are achievable within the next year. And or have a grant deadline.
Oh, I had grant deadlines. Anything that's due in 2025, I put on the
Yeah.
pavilion,
so-
panel, and traffic calming. Were there others?
That's where I was going. Are we orange or yellow?
Let's do blue.
Okay. Traffic calming,
Contrary.
pavilion. What was the other one?
Pavilion panel. The
Interpretive panel.
interpretive panel, yeah.
Is that on here?
We'll add it.
It was the other grant that was due in 2025.
I just added it.
Okay. Tree removal at the Warren School, I think is right up there,
Yeah.
right?
MOU with
Yeah.
Harwood.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Yeah.
have the grant deadline. I would just put that as green.
I
Yeah,
would put that as
yep.
green.
Yep. Do we have the maintenance contract on there? Or
Yeah.
maybe we're not there
Mhm.
yet.
Here. Blue? Or hi?
No. Blue. If we, I mean, anything that, you know, if we get to it, we want to pump it up, that's fine, but I
Yeah.
feel like,
I think the Lincoln Gap speed mitigation that's in process, let's stay on that.
Do we want to do the same for V-Trans Route 100 intersection?
Yeah,
that's gonna be a long
I
it's
know,
term.
gonna
it's a
be a
longer
long-term
process.
process. That's why I say, like, some of these things are
Right.
quicker and easier and others are
Right.
sort of a long-term, but we wanna keep making headway on that.
Yeah, I mean, they're on our list. I feel like we're highlighting, we can't highlight everything.
We could.
We can.
With different
The
colors.
thing about
I love
priorities
this.
is you really can't have multiple top priorities, but, yeah, I don't want us to,
So this feels like the next tier. We just started working on this,
yeah,
right?
yeah. And it's,
Can I?
Jess, did you hear our update about this earlier in the meeting?
No, I was just gonna say, like, I feel like the more emergent issue would just be the sign refurbishing, since that's, you know, an important just aspect of our town.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I understand that the VT trans, I haven't heard about the updates as far as that, but I just think, like, making sure that, you know, welcoming people into our community in a way that's not looking so destitute is important.
That's classic
So-
Vermont shabby chic, Jess.
I mean, I don't know how everyone feels about my orange fencing currently, but maybe it all falls in line.
Very colorful. I love it.
Well, and I think what you're getting at is sort of what we're talking about as far as like what are we responsible for and what are we delegating, because Rebecca is already managing the welcome sign refurbishing, and that was the update, that we've been in touch with Wood and Wood and they're gonna come out and check out the signs and see what they need. And we're gonna go.
Fantastic. So that seems like something super accomplishable that you could like mark as blue, where the VT trans is not. I understand that is a sort of a cruise ship that needs to change directions versus something that is feels good to check a box
Yeah.
and also looks nice.
Yeah, so I think that sort of goes back to my concept of, are there large scale projects and small scale projects, and do
or
we
direct,
differentiate?
yeah, things
I
that are,
have a recommendation, like how we can prioritize without highlighting everything.
thank you.
But I wanted everything to be a different
If
color.
this is helpful, it's called the Eisenhower Matrix.
Talk to us.
It's very simple. You first think about things that are urgent and important.
Oh yeah, we know this.
What is urgent and what is important? Those are things that we focus on doing.
Yeah.
Things that are important but not urgent, we schedule for later.
Yeah.
Things that are not important but urgent, we delegate to someone else. And then things that are not important and not urgent, we just delete.
Delete.
Which probably won't happen.
Yeah, good luck. It's important to
just
somebody if it's on that
thinking about
list.
how we want to categorize these things instead of
Okay, so that
necessarily
gives us 4 colors.
4 colors, but
Really,
we can eventually we can maybe reorganize this after this.
Yes.
meeting,
Okay,
if that's helpful.
So, and let's start with that process, because I love that. So the first one is urgent and important.
So it says tasks with a clear deadlines and significant consequences if not completed in a timely fashion.
We're
So STRs
Yeah.
is for sure
Yeah.
that.
already paying for that.
The MOU with Harwood doesn't have a clear deadline, but feels like it could have significant consequences.
Important but not urgent, is that what we're
Important,
saying?
but I guess.
Important but not urgent is we schedule.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay, so that's becoming blue.
Great.
So I think it would be useful to add your color code to
Yes,
this.
we need to do that. Rebecca, will you do that while I highlight? Please.
What am I doing?
We're,
make a
we
key
need
of
a
the
key.
different
Yeah,
colors are.
I'm surprised it's not even, oh, it's because you're.
Yeah.
over.
You already did it.
Mm.
Nice job. Okay, so urgent,
Urgent and important is due, which is green.
Green. I'll do that, Devin.
oh, okay, thanks.
Okay.
Um,
It's zero on it.
urgent and important. Looters,
It's important,
but
is
not
it-
urgent because it is scheduled and coming to us.
Yeah, it's,
So that's a delegate, but we can't really delegate. it,
There's
so
nothing we
just
can
might
do
schedule
right
it.
now.
it's in, yeah, it's on its own timeline right now.
Yeah,
We're not totally in charge of it at the moment.
right. STRs is, so that's staying green.
Mhm.
The bridge on Main Street with the sidewalk repair is important.
Where it's urgent but
It
not
is.
important. Is it not important?
I mean, I think it depends on who you are.
Okay, so for speaking from the perspective of the select board
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
this, the
Yeah.
way that they talk about the delegate function is tasks that need to get done but don't need your expertise in order to be completed.
Yeah, so this, in my opinion, is important,
Yeah,
but not urgent.
Urgent.
So
Right.
That's a
So we
color
can-
we don't have yet.
important but not urgent is to schedule it.
to
Something that
schedule
needs
it.
to be scheduled.
Yep,
And that is what
Does,
we need
yep.
to do there.
yep.
Yellow, maybe?
Yellow. I love it.
So what's the blue color? What did we decide on?
Blue is important, not urgent.
I thought that's.
No,
that's what we
important,
just
not
talked about.
urgent is scheduled.
Okay,
Urgent, not important? We don't have any urgent, not important.
Urgent,
you
not
do
important
that?
is delegate.
How do you urgent, not? Oh, urgent, not important, wouldn't that
like
be
something,
like?
that's the signs.
The signs.
Right,
That's the signs.
somebody else's, yeah.
Urgent, not important is signs. That's becoming, I'm stealing pink. And V-Trans is
Now we have
important,
four different colors.
not urgent.
Devin.
Yeah, hold on.
I'm supposed to have 4 colors.
We're supposed to have three.
Three,
right
because
now.
you delete the ones that are the fourth category.
Oh, shit. That's okay.
Sorry.
We'll refer back to the notes on this. It's fine.
Okay, so I'm getting rid of pink and I'm going to yellow. Important, not urgent.
Important, not urgent is to schedule it out, which is what we've been using blue for, I think.
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, Jean. That's true of all of these things. Rebecca's list is getting longer and longer and longer.
She's gonna quit next week.
Well, we can put something else on our
Actively looking
urgent
for a
list
new job.
then.
The Eisenhower method.
Okay, so traffic calming, on
look at-
West Hill Road.
I have a.
Hey, Jess.
I'm just wondering if it would be helpful to like have a deadline for what is urgent. So like, you know, in my family, we often do things that need to happen before the 4th of July and things that need to happen after the 4th of July. So is there like a date that defines urgency was my only.
Oh, we lost her.
So I
Ezra
think
got the phone.
I'll just say that some of these things are already in process.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
so maybe maybe we can diverge a little bit
Yeah.
from Eisenhower.
Well, it's also
Is there
just
an
the
in
concept
process?
of. So it's the concept of like maybe it's in process, but does it need us to weigh in?
Right.
Like, does it need our support as select board
I see.
people,
That's-
or can it be scheduled out and we address it then?
Yeah.
It's that concept of like from your perspective.
Do you want to go through, would it be better to just go through each line item and discuss it than jumping around like we are?
I think that would probably be helpful.
Where do we want to put this one? Where do we want to put that one?
Yeah.
So
Okay.
go start back with the,
Do you want to start
Community
with
building.
town issues and do you want to
Oh,
start
sure.
here because we're here anyway?
sure.
Okay, so Mill Road declassification.
That is not on my list right now.
I
That's
find it
way
not
too deep
urgent
and-
and not important,
Con-
unfortunately,
Yeah,
for those who feel it is.
yeah.
So that's one where we would schedule it.
No, not urgent, not
It's
important.
not-
Is
Would
the
be,
fourth color.
would be deleted.
delete.
It's just
Right,
going
so
to
it's
pink,
going into, yeah.
Okay,
because we
going
don't
in.
have the luxury of deleting it.
yes.
Okay, V-Trans and Main Street. This is
That is-
important, but it's not urgent. Right?
Well, but there's opportunities for us to weigh in the coming weeks, right?
Yes.
Like we have that study coming up,
Yes.
so I feel like that one I would see as like there's urgent deliverables or inputs from our team
Needed.
needed.
Yes.
So I would
That
say
makes
that's
it green.
urgent and important, so I'd say that's due.
Okay. Traffic calming is also that. and
Yeah, but it's
we-
also the
we
same-
have to be working
There's
on
a
that.
deadline.
We
Yeah,
have a
And that
deadline.
has a deadline, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Land use development regs will be that, but they are not currently.
Their schedule.
Where are we on, did we make a decision on sending Nick?
We did.
They've been sent.
They've been
They've been
sent,
sent,
okay.
and he's reviewing them.
Yep.
And he said he would do so as quickly as possible.
Yep.
So that stays where it is, right? Yeah, whatever that color means.
That's a schedule.
Okay, and STRs similarly are already scheduled.
Right.
So we can put them those blue. They're urgent
But
and
is there
important.
there's another element to the STR that I think you're alluding to in this project line. Not just having the STR ordinance passed, but rather the next phase of it. Is that right?
No, I mean, that is also already in process.
Yeah.
I mean, those things, both things are being done
Yeah.
without us. I just want us to make sure that we are pushing them,
How long?
yeah.
Okay, so then we keep that one where it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have the
Okay.
email from Luke that he forwarded to me with his communication with VLCT. And I basically have a task in my calendar so that when, I forget, I think they said mid-March.
Mid-March.
Yeah.
So that's what I
So
was gonna say.
basically, at the end of this week, if we haven't heard from them,
Thank
and
you.
I talked to Luke this morning and he said that he's checking his emails to
Right.
make sure, and anything he gets, he'll forward to
Yeah,
us.
I think, I'd like
So-
to see us, end of this week or
Yep,
Monday,
and keeping them on
circle
task
back
with
with
that.
them and just
Yep.
say, where are we?
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
please,
So that's where that
thanks.
sits right now.
Okay. The bridge on Main Street and the sidewalk repair. It needs to be scheduled. We've put money in the budget.
Andrew and I are also
And
working
committed to
on
doing
a municipal highway grant for some of that
Yeah.
$149,000 budget.
And did I see, when did it say we should award that May?
I believe that May, I have to have it, it's due by April 15th, but Andrew and I are planning to get it off of our desks by the end of the week.
And
then-
that seems like one where we delegated, potentially, right?
Yeah, are there decisions that we need to make?
Only
regard to that?
what our
we-
scope will be, and maybe that's determined by whatever grant they do or don't receive. But it's like $150,000 to repair the bridge and that section of sidewalk, and then another, what did he say?
I would say that you, once we get RFPs back,
Yeah,
you'll need to start being,
and
you know,
have
a
we
part of
put
that.
out?
We'll have to
No.
draft an RFP.
So that's the time part of it that
yeah.
I feel like we're responsible for saying, put out an RFP, get it going.
Yeah.
And
So that's a schedule.
do we need to make a decision before we put out an RFP on what the scope is? Which, if we can't make that decision until after we know whether we get the grant,
Well,
that
we
pushes
know the
everything out.
approximate costs, and I think we agreed in budgeting to focus on the bridge
The bridge
and the
si-
immediate
yeah.
sidewalk there
Yes,
for this
yeah.
year, and
Yeah.
that's what we budgeted for.
Right.
So I think we should just stick with that.
That's
plan.
what the RFP should
be for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So are we asking that Rebecca and Andrew put together an RFP for that?
Does that directly correlate to the grant that you're asking for? Is there any reason that we would need to wait to hear from the grant for the RFP?
Not if, not
No,
if
'cause
we know
we
we're
put
gonna
Then
go
we
ahead
should
with the money
definitely
anyway.
put together an
Okay.
RFP.
Yeah.
Yeah. Flatiron 30% design plan. This was done. What needs to be done now is bringing the plan we chose through to completion.
Well,
Oh, Flatiron?
yeah,
Well, or deciding
whether we.
Not to.
Yeah,
and
so
we
this could,
need to,
could potentially come up in our hazard mitigation plan.
oh, okay.
So is this something that's being scheduled? This is.
Yeah, I think this is something scheduled.
Mhm.
It's important,
It's-
but not urgent right
Yep.
now.
Okay. All right, a maintenance contract with the town. To me, this feels urgent and important. Like, if
Yes,
we
I
were to
agree.
achieve this right now, then so many of these other things get deleted.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yep.
Do you agree, Fanny?
And not terribly difficult probably for us to do, right?
You feel like it's not that important?
I feel like it's important, but I feel like given all of the other things on here,
Well,
I'm also okay with keeping it as very important and the do.
I don't
category.
think it takes, maybe
think
I'm
it
wrong, I
takes
don't think it takes a lot from us.
Right.
I think, again, it's just
It's just
saying,
Rebecca.
It's just putting more
It's just
on Rebecca.
who's quitting, so we'll be busy hiring a new town administrator.
I'll be your maintenance contractor.
Yeah, okay.
You are already. We're trying to alleviate you from those tasks.
Website.
Right.
I think it's really important.
But not-
I'm really
I
frustrated
know
that
it's
taking
urgent, but
so long.
everything can't be important and urgent.
Is it urgent and not important?
Is there a
Could
date
it be urgent?
associated?
Yesterday in your office, I was saying it was urgent and important. Today, I'm looking at the list and going, okay, it's important but not urgent. I mean, it's
Okay,
Happening
and
anyway?
this is our first go, so I feel like it's okay to move things to the, hey, these are what we want to tackle right now. Because also, we know that any of these things that we're tackling right now happen in little pieces.
Right.
Right?
We'll
It's
jump-
not like it's
we'll
gonna
jump
take a
back and
whole
forth.
week. We're
Can
gonna,
I?
yeah.
put some energy into it.
So the website listserv stuff is already kind of going through a process. It's in process, but
It
it
is.
doesn't currently need the weigh-in from the select board on
Correct.
anything.
Right.
So I would say this is a delegate task. This
Yep.
is not something that we need to weigh in on right now.
Kaylee's much better at delegating.
So what does that
than I am.
mean?
What does that mean?
What Eisenhower is that?
That's delegate. It's the not important, urgent category, but the way that you describe it is tasks that need to get done but don't need your expertise to do
Yep.
them.
Yep, perfect. We'll just call this Rebecca's list.
So I think that one's a different color than the blue. I think that one's.
It is?
Yeah. That one's a delegate one.
That's totally confused.
This is Jim. I raised my hand. I don't know if you guys
Oh
can
yeah,
see it
we
or
can
not.
see it, Jim, sorry.
So with regard to the listserv, this is what you're discussing right now?
Yes.
I think it will be super important to have that up and running as you start discussing the town garage.
Yes.
Yes.
That-
We agree.
That will be a really easy way to communicate with a list of interested people.
Yep,
Yes.
yep,
I think
Yes.
it was important like 5 years ago.
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
We're not saying
Okay.
it's not important, we're saying that it's
Doesn't
just,
require
it's something
select
that's
board.
already going through a process and doesn't necessarily require the select board to weigh in on it. Right now.
And just for a history lesson, we invented that in 1982. So it's been around a while.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's been urgent for the last 30 years. Sorry.
We've known how to do it for a really long time, is what's my point.
Jim,
The right
the
way.
wheels of government turn very slowly.
okay.
Okay, is yellow the right color? I
think
think
so,
I got a little
yes.
confused.
That's
'cause-
fine. We'll go back through the list and double check the blues, but it's delegate, yeah.
Okay. Lincoln Gap speed mitigation. This is in process. It's something we need to pick
Parts
up
of it.
again. We need to approve signage or not.
Yeah,
We need a
that's the-
new
I
speed
think-
study.
Right. Yeah.
We
I
need
th-
to
that's-
direct enforcement.
What are you gonna say, Kaylee?
I was gonna say it's urgent and important.
It is. It
Yeah, it
takes.
is.
It needs us right now.
It just needs us to make some
Yeah.
decisions and then,
Yeah.
yeah.
And they sent another email.
Yeah, I saw
Last
that.
night.
We saw it.
Okay. I didn't read. I didn't have time to read it today.
Violation enforcement capabilities.
So this one
Oh.
was in
Right,
a response to Jeff's
Yeah.
request for fire department enforcement.
right.
And we were going to, we had a to-do list item of going back and looking at other enforcement
Mm-hmm.
policies, is that right?
Yeah,
Right. And we've dropped all of that.
Yes.
because it's pink.
I would say it's not urgent, not important. But that's just me.
Yeah.
I feel a little bit like that.
Yeah. I was just trying to think relative to the ordinance, the STR ordinance, but that'll go through,
Is that something we could
Zoning,
delegate though,
anyway.
to someone to look into the other policies?
The STR ordinance will create a situation in which those violations are enforceable by the zoning
by
administrator.
the zoning administrator, but we're talking, this
Fire
is really
department.
talking about fire department
Understood.
and other.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, I think we need to set that in the not urgent, not
Yeah.
important. at
For
the
now.
moment.
And understanding that for
Yeah,
us,
these things
the
are not
urgent,
being deleted, they're
not
just-
being deleted. They are just
And if
on the
somebody,
back burner.
right, and if we can find somebody to delegate them to, somebody steps up, by all means. They can't be our top priority.
Yeah. Okay, West Hill stabilization.
So I met with Lisa. It was on my list, but I didn't read it. I met with Lisa because it was on here. Met with Lisa Gold from the state. We got our GSI updated quote back, and it's significantly higher than what it was, 3 or 4 years ago when they originally got it. She is suggesting that we do a budget modification with FEMA, which is a huge process, which also would end up being a grant extension.
Right, I was gonna say, this is a grant, right?
Yep.
Okay.
So she was talking to them. She and I meet again next Wednesday to talk about it. So she was going to give me an update on if we can do a budget modification, and if we can we also do a grant extension?
So this is in
it's-
process.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. And it's,
So it's
and it,
yellow.
and it's, Andrew doesn't believe that it's urgent,
Correct.
so, yeah.
Does that mean I screwed this up and
It's okay,
the
we're gonna
bridge
go-
on Main Street should be yellow? Because that is in
Yeah, that can be yellow too.
is that right?
Yeah.
Sorry.
You're fine.
Okay. Pavilion is in process.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
moving toward completion.
Doesn't need anything else from the select board, really.
No.
Except again, to make sure that it continues to move.
Yeah. Which is yellow.
Yeah, it's delegate. That's a delegate category, I think.
So what is blue?
Blue is schedule.
Oh.
Put a date on it.
Okay.
Which we should do with,
The MOU.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's in the right one.
yeah.
You
Okay.
did that one right.
Norm Robinson Culvert.
That's neither.
Yeah, I would say that's not urgent, not important.
Just have to-
We're basically waiting for Sugar Bush to make a decision on their snowmaking lines.
Well, and we also want to contact, whatever.
Contact.
The culvert people.
Contact, yeah.
Contact.
Culvert.
Did you
Contact,
contact the culvert
Andrew
people?
is contacting them.
yeah, so.
So it's not pink, it's
Yellow.
yellow. Because it's in process and being delegated.
Well,
Yes, no?
but
I
it's
mean,
not a project
not
that we're
something
doing this year.
It's just something that
Yeah. It's just something that we're
we
doing, we're
don't want to
working on.
completely forget
Yeah.
about. Purple it.
Okay.
Black.
Yes, no? Like, should
Purple.
it be pink?
Yeah,
Pink,
just
whatever
put a
it
pink.
is.
I
It's
put
fine.
pink.
Yeah.
We're gonna keep it on the list anyway,
Yeah.
so if it changes, it changes.
Okay, local hazard mitigation plan.
urgent and important.
Yep, we
Okay.
are, I've sent a couple of things out on Front Porch Forum, getting people's responses to the survey that Kaylee, Jeff, and I took with Keith and Lincoln, is that his name?
Yes.
And he actually emailed me at the end of the day today to start to talk about a public meeting where the public can have input on, you know, what they feel is important for us to be focusing on in our hazard mitigation plan.
Okay.
Yep.
So is this something the select board is driving?
I'm attending the meetings as required.
Yeah.
Okay. So, okay.
But we
It's
should,
happening.
I would.
I
It's
think
green.
a public meeting would be good to get your input on.
Yeah.
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 So we need to schedule a public meeting?
For this plan, yes, we'll
Yeah.
have to.
Yeah. Like I said, Lincoln emailed me today or called me at the end of the day, and it was after 4, so I didn't answer it.
All right, so we'll wait to hear from you,
so yeah.
but you guys have
Yep.
got that scheduled?
But it's
Okay.
in process. So
Great. It's green. Playground oversight and contract. It's green
Green.
until we get that contract
Yes.
signed, sealed, and delivered, and then it can be blue or yellow or whichever one is delegating.
Tree removal, we delegated tonight.
Oh, we did. So it's yellow.
Yes. Sorry, Rebecca.
all good.
You know, your list color keeps changing.
It's all good.
Which one do you like best?
I don't like any of them, but
Okay, welcome sign refurbish is also
Delegates.
happening.
It's in, yeah.
yep.
It's yellow.
Mm-hmm. Interpretive panel is most of them, right?
Yeah, I'm just
Yeah.
waiting for Wood and Wood to come and
Yeah, so yellow.
install it, so I would say yellow.
So once the yellow things become completed, they go away.
In my opinion, I think we should put a strike through them.
Or we
Yes.
should
Take them off of the color, take the color off of them and put a strike through them, so we can still see it.
Yeah.
And if somebody says, well, what did you do this year?
Yeah, I agree. I love that.
Watch our
And
meetings.
should maybe this whole thing
Went to
get
meetings.
reorganized into color categories, and then you can just move it to the completed category
Yes, we can do that.
Perhaps.
instead of it being by location or building.
Okay.
Okay, where do you want to go next, team? How about Brooksfield? Look, there's only one. This is being delegated.
It's, yeah, I mean, yeah,
We have a grant.
yep.
This is happening, right?
Mm-hmm.
And,
Correct.
yep.
Okay, I'm going to town garage. I don't know what this
That's-
means. This new
Oh, I
trailer.
don't either.
It's just, their trailer is, I mean, you sat in it for
Their
4
office.
hours on Saturday. They've cleaned it up, but it's bad. You know, Andrew said whenever somebody walks across the floor, it goes like this because there's no support underneath it. And
So
we just thought if Dana and I have basically been watching Auctions International, if we could get them a new trailer for $4,000 or $5,000, I think it would be worth it. Because it's the conditions over there are so bad.
they'll need it for at least
At
2
least a
years
year
even.
to 2 years, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's all that is.
It's yellow.
Okay.
Yeah,
You're doing it already.
Yeah.
yeah.
The new garage planning project is happening. That's green. It's
Yeah.
of the utmost importance. Fire station.
HVAC for fire station.
They would like to see HVAC, like a heat pump, in the meeting room.
Are they working on that, or are they?
That's just what
asking
the
us?
fire chief told me to put on the list. Because I asked them all which was a mistake.
It's pink until he comes
yeah,
up
exactly.
comes to us and says something else.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's on him. Okay, and the
Do
garage
they
door.
currently have AC in there?
They have a AC in the window,
Okay.
window unit, so it's
Okay.
not like it's 90 degrees in there with 25 bodies. And then the garage door for if there's rot all around the garage door
Yeah.
up at the Sugarbush station, it's tough because
Nobody knows who's responsible for the costs.
right, it's technically a Sugarbush building because so.
That's
So
the
many
excited
of
face I
these.
was talking about.
Yeah. but they know that it's technically not in the budget, so it's not happening
Yeah.
this year. Jeff's working with I think he's trying to get Charlie to get up there and give him a quote for just like some repair
Repairs.
work. But they also need to make the garage door a little bit taller on one of the sides
Yeah.
that the ladder truck sits in, because they have to make sure that that bucket is so far down before they can even back it into the station.
Yeah.
So he's getting some quotes for that.
So it's important, but not urgent.
Correct.
And it also sounds
somebody
like
else.
something that a maintenance contract might be able to assist with, unless it falls on the fire department and not us.
Well, it's also
I'm
on
a
our
little
building.
clear.
Well,
Yeah, I know.
we walk a fine line with it, unfortunately.
Let's jump right into this mud puddle.
Do we need an MOU with Sugar Bush on here? Is
Oh,
that-
Jesus.
No,
Yeah.
no.
I think we have a couple of
Somebody
them.
else, that's another board.
I would say that when Jeff comes in to do his quarterly update, he can give you guys some more information.
Great. Love that. Town hall, front steps.
We're just waiting for some quotes.
Yellow.
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 This is happening.
Mhm.
Is blue? No, sorry, yellow.
Yellow.
This is not happening currently. I wonder if there's a way to sort of, if we're serious about a maintenance contract, then all of these little things end up under that.
Right.
So
was
what
my
does that
point.
mean?
So
Do we make
it's-
them pink until,
Mm-hmm, yeah.
is that,
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to see storage be blue
What is storage?
because it's important but not urgent, and
So basically, because there's not a lot of storage downstairs in the basement, a lot of the stuff that the after school kids play with is basically put into corners, which is now blocking emergency exits, blocking the panel for the
it's a little
elevator.
bit ridiculous. It's just stacked haphazardly everywhere. It falls when
Right.
you try and move one thing, and all of a sudden it's toppling down on top
Yep.
of you.
So I just want to get them some cabinets down there. It's nothing.
or industrial shelves or
Shelving.
something.
Exactly.
Shelving.
And how
Get it up off the
it's-
floor.
The issue, I think, is that it begs the question of whose space is it?
Right. That's what I was just gonna say. This is another mud puddle.
Because it's the town hall,
It's
but it's being
the
used by
library.
the library like it's library space. But it's still town hall space. I'm not upset about the library using it in any capacity.
No, it's
I
just,
think it's
it's
wonderful.
gonna be one of those gray areas that who's responsible for
Yeah.
deciding what happens but
And so
can't
maybe it's
take
a
that on right now.
delegating situation where, and I did field this to Marie,
Yeah.
like, hey, come up with a plan
Right.
of what you'd like to see and bring that to us.
That, to me, is what should happen. The library needs to bring us a request, the town a request for how they'd like to use that space. In other words, what they want,
You just made that a really open-ended. Do you want to find out?
Well, so I
what
think
they want to do storage-wise.
it's similar to the
Storage-wise.
fire department. It's our building, but we allow
Yeah,
the fire department to.
Right.
Well, but as far as the library is concerned, we allow them to use the middle floor.
But they use
Right?
the upper
That's why
floors,
it gets a little muddy because
So,
no one's upset.
so I think leaving it at, that's their area and they can make decisions. If they want to use other spaces, they need to come and say, this is, what we'd like to do in this space. And right now, they're using that downstairs space, but it's not working for us. So we're
Yeah.
asking them to come up with a solution for using it in a way that works. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Is that fair?
I think it's fair. I think it's potentially opening a very large can of worms, unless we decide on a system. I'm
Yeah.
thinking out loud. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm
'Cause
trying
remember
to
the
remove
conversation I told you
the
about?
responsibility from us for dealing with that project.
Yeah, I agree. And if we put the responsibility in their hands, where will they go with it?
Well, they have to come to us and we say, no, storage, that's what you need.
Okay. So,
Kaylee doesn't look like she's buying.
what are
any
your
of this.
thoughts?
I think if we're, I don't know. I think asking them to put together a plan is like maybe too much, but I do think it's worth inviting them to talk to us about how they are using that space, and then we can talk about what the issues are, just more openly.
Well,
that might be a good place to start.
Yeah.
Put it on the agenda, have a conversation.
Okay, now we're making this a bigger, I was just talking about storage.
Yeah.
They're storing stuff in there. Come to us with a solution for your storage that's better than what it is now.
Okay.
Not,
That's not what I
let's
was-
talk about
that's
how
not
you're
what
gonna
I
use the
was
space.
understanding from what you were
Sorry,
saying.
yeah, no.
That's why I was saying it gets dangerous.
I know.
I like
I'm just
that.
saying,
Storage.
we shouldn't
Storage.
be having to come up with a plan for storing their stuff. They should say to us, we should say, you need a plan for storing your stuff. Bring us a suggestion. You want to buy racks, you want to whatever.
Okay.
Rebecca, will
That's-
you please ask them to put together a plan for storage?
Yep.
Delegated that one.
I did already have that conversation with Marie, so she is aware.
Yeah, I have talked at length to them over there, and so I will revisit this with them.
So they may end up here anyway.
Excuse me, it sounds like from what you've said that there are some safety issues.
Yeah,
If the electric panel is blocked, if the exits are blocked,
Yeah.
and.
yeah. I mean, I
So-
unblocked the exits, but yes.
Yeah, so, maybe the fire chief should take a look at things and.
He's the one who brought it to our attention.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then it seems like, you could look at what's there now in terms of, you need 500 cubic feet of storage or something like that, and then make an arrangement, buy the shelves to accommodate that stuff.
I think we could do that. I think what I'm trying to do is
Get someone else to do it.
keep the board and Rebecca from having to do stuff for departments that are bleeding into other spaces. I think that's we need to put it back on them to say, this is not a space that has been allocated to you. How do you want to use it? It can't be used the way it is right now. Because we have a lot of priorities.
Can I just ask who uses this space the most? What is this space most used for? I know that it's used for memorials and cemetery voting, and then the library also. That's my understanding. Do we know who uses the space most frequently?
I think the library definitely uses the space most frequently. For after-school programming, they use the kitchen like multiple times a week. The play group that they
Why,
sponsor
Jeff?
is down there.
Was that Jeff?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. Why?
Just out of curiosity, I was just wondering how the space is being utilized because of the conversation that you're having right now.
Okay. No, I was just curious where you were going with that. Okay.
I'd give them color if I could, Rebecca, but
The library.
I'm limited. Okay. Are we good on town hall? Was there anything else there? I mean, we have talked about the upstairs space and potentially reorganizing it or getting rid of. I think I'm gonna add that to clean up basement.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, clean up the clerk's office, reorganize to make more welcoming.
I don't think that's us, is it? Or is it? Okay.
I
think
tried,
it's-
and it doesn't go anywhere. So it's just really yard saley in there.
Yeah. Yeah. Is it urgent or important?
It's not urgent or important. It just looks, and people
I
are like,
agree.
"What's going on downstairs? It looks awful."
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
That one's pink again.
I can't see what it is.
Repair rotten cells.
Oh. Yeah.
Is that happening?
it's not happening.
Oh.
We wanted it to happen last summer, but you just can't get anybody here to paint lines. So it's not. I would say it's not urgent, but it's important.
Well, if
So I don't know.
does it tie into our traffic
Traffic
calming?
calming?
Because
Mhm.
we're gonna have them come back and paint lines probably, right?
Mhm.
So
And we're probably
We can
gonna
have
have
it
to
done
have
at the
new
same
lines
time.
painted once the pavilion is done,
Mm-hmm.
because the handicap ramp is
Right.
in a different place
Right.
than what we
Yeah.
had thought.
Well, I think we had
So,
talked about those being handicap
Exactly.
spots, right?
But they're not technically now.
They're not technically
Right.
now. And then there was a whole conversation with the library at some point around the pavilion project about improving traffic calming right here.
Right.
Where so that's part of our traffic calming, maybe.
The grant, though. It's not part of that grant.
Well, I think it could be. It's
Oh, 'cause we're
within the
rewriting-
boundaries.
Because we're rewriting.
Well, we increased our scope, right?
Did we do that already?
We didn't increase the scope because it was only to talk about the sidewalk. But I've also put in a grant for AARP traffic village traffic calming.
Right.
So that could be used for
Right. But I
the
don't think that's
municipal
part of
and
that
pavilion lot area.
either.
The village
Okay.
traffic calming is for the scope of work that you all did before I came on board.
So because we didn't
We
include
only got an
Cemetery
extension.
Road,
Correct.
we can't use it
Right.
for that.
Correct.
Right.
Okay, so then it's not green because that one's under deadline, but it's blue because it's something that we need to be working on. Did I get it right yet? Or no?
Yes.
We
Important,
just
but
need
not
to
urgent.
schedule.
We need
Do.
to schedule it.
Yep.
Okay. Municipal building, paint the front door. This is again pink because it's going basically to the maintenance contract.
Yep.
And the cleaning up of the basement is something that I think also includes upstairs of the town hall, which has been a conversation with the employees basically of the buildings, that it's like a giant catch-all.
Yeah.
And there's a Bowflex and a treadmill and all kinds of workout equipment that you can't get to in case you like to use those things.
Community gym.
Yeah.
Right, in like a 12 square foot box with no windows.
Yeah.
The idea being, can we mobilize those things out of there?
Is that a maintenance thing or is that something
Um,
we're doing ourselves?
I don't know. I think what we,
Because
I would
who
not
are
want
we and how are we
I
getting?
would not
Yeah.
want people who are not, I don't know, those feel like very heavy things to move.
they
But I would
are-
also not want to waste our maintenance contract on that basement. I feel like there's other things that are more of a priority than that basement.
I think one of the things that we had talked about previously was like, is there a way to organize a yard sale or the donation of them? I mean, it might be as simple as calling resource and saying,
I'm sorry, this
Come
has to
get
be
this.
pink right now.
Yeah.
We don't have the capacity to deal with it.
Just put it on front porch forum, someone will come get it.
Yep.
That's true.
Somebody has to put it on
Facebook
front porch.
Marketplace.
is it something that you feel like you
Less
have the
than 5
bandwidth
seconds.
to just continue to try and make progress
Yeah,
on?
I can make progress on
St.
it.
Perry is
So-
offering.
Pick it away. Pick away at it.
So that
We
feels
can
like
pick-
yellow?
We can pick away at it. Or if you want to just leave it
If you
not
wanna get rid of
highlighted.
it, I'll help you get rid of it.
And I
We
think
just wanna get rid of all of it.
Free.
I
So
think
there's
so.
there's the
If I can get
junk
some cash.
people if we want to.
No, we're not
Exactly.
paying
They're a
you to
little bit
take it away.
expensive.
No, not for
Do we have
me,
to
for the
organize?
stuff.
Oh,
he could.
You basically just
Going
go
towards
schedule
the
a pickup.
town
But I
garage.
mean, we
There
know
we
where
go.
it's going.
Yeah.
we'll make like
They don't have to-
$125.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Some good stuff down there.
Because there's also display cabinets that are
Yeah,
over
there's a Bowflex
at
up
the,
for.
on the
There
top
and,
floor.
and there is
And-
one that's broken and is unsafe.
Yep.
And we've sort of talked about how many do we think are necessary. You know, there's something that Cindy had.
Yeah.
It's part of the historical society, and they're cool. And you know,
Could those be if we're getting rid of them? Could those be restore?
I think
Those-
so.
Yeah.
I think
so
they
we don't
could.
have to pay anybody to do that. They just come and get them.
Well,
Yeah.
actually, there's a charge for them to come pick things up, but it's like
Sort of-
$75. And the piece that needs our attention is what do we want to keep and what do we want to get rid of? And that's why I say it does require a little bit of input from us, I think, as far as
Which is
cleaning
why
up
I
the
made it
things.
pink.
Otherwise I get rid of all of it.
I feel like I have some bandwidth to help decide what stays and what goes as far as the town hall.
I
and the-
think your historical society ought to be part of making those decisions. So I would loop Brent in on that. if,
Okay, so we'll keep it yellow and make whatever little progress we can and talk about what, I mean, I think it's a matter of like, hey, is it okay if I get rid of 5 of these and keep 2? And we say yes or no. Which feels like we can do.
you can do everything.
So Devin, so kind of on a note there, I mean, do we need all the Valley reporters? Is that a legal requirement? Does anyone know?
Do we have, where do we have Valley reporters?
Probably down
Downstairs in the basement.
You have like 6 shelves of Valley reporters down there.
Do we,
I think
do
the Valley
we,
Reporter has them.
don't they have them in electronic format forever?
Well, I guess that's my point is, do we need to check that there is an electronic record somewhere of the warning
Right.
that the town of Warren did in 1984?
So the LCT question, how far back do we have?
So when I first started, the basement was brought to my attention, and Brent did some research. After not getting anywhere, he felt that we needed to keep them.
Did he ask VLCT?
Mhm.
Okay. And they didn't answer?
I don't,
Okay.
I had too much on my plate to follow up, so.
Is it like accounting where we have to keep 7 years worth of records and anything beyond
know.
that is really good fire starter, which I need some of.
I don't know, but for me, that is not a priority for this select board. I get it, but we have so much going on that I can't.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a fire hazard, right? They're not stored properly, they're, you know, it impedes with any type of activity down there, so if I can help some way,
Yeah, I was gonna
I
say,
will.
Have you done any research? Do you want to do any research on how long? I mean, even we could even ask if Waitsfield must have the same thing. If
Well,
they have
yeah,
to keep
that's
them.
what I was even just gonna call the Vermont State Library and see if they have Valley reporters on microfiche. If they do, we're done, right?
Would you please?
Yeah, I can do that.
Thank
Sure.
you, Jim.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. The piece of what Jim is saying that I agree with the most and why it feels important to me is part of the building maintenance piece of it, that like we have space within this building to move things that are otherwise crowding us and not allowing for meeting space, and like the opportunity to be more efficient with our building usage. And so
I
to
do
make
not disagree with
right,
that.
so to
I
be
just-
able to keep making little increments, and I don't think it takes much from us.
I don't think it takes much from us. I don't think we can do everything that we already have on our list, so that's why I'm putting it bottom, but I'm not gonna
I
argue
hear
with
you.
you anymore about it. So
I hear you,
however
and
wanna
so
put it,
we'll
that's
see
fine.
what Jim can get, and we won't worry about it at the board level, and we'll
Yeah.
let it sit there.
Okay, no,
Okay,
I think that speaks to, not to add more to the plate, but I think in general, just now that I've been here for a year and almost a half, I think that this whole building could be looked at and where we work and how we work, you know. We have this massive room up front that one person works out of. We have
Yeah.
this massive room that
person.
and we can't have meetings during the day because it interferes with
Right.
her doing her everyday responsibility. So it's
Yeah.
challenging. So
Once we get that garage, all about this building.
perfect. I'm gonna move over to the garage. That's what I told
Yeah,
Andrew.
there you go, yeah.
He was like, "Oh no, you're not."
I think that's.
can have his trailer.
I think that's really prudent, and what I think is important about that, and it's still pink, but what I think is important is that it's the kind of thing that just gets pushed off
Yeah,
always.
right.
And so when we clear up a little bit of space for ourselves, let's try and move that forward.
Yep.
I would love to see a conference room.
Okay.
So am I moving stuff or selling stuff or no?
Yeah, definitely.
All right, so somebody.
Go take inventory
Somebody
You and-
tells
and loop
me.
us in.
You and Jim can get together and
Do you
Somebody's
have
gotta
Jim's
put the
contact
dots
info?
on it. Or stickers like this goes.
Okay.
Okay.
Or they
yeah,
can
I think
invite
Jim
me
has to
down
do
and-
some research first, possibly.
Let's let Jim do his research on the Valley Reporters,
Okay.
and
As for the Bowflex and
the exercise equipment can go. We're all in agreement.
Mm-hmm.
It can go.
Is it,
Do you want to make a? Why don't we make a time to go
To
down
meet,
there?
yeah.
with,
We'll work through Rebecca.
Yeah.
perfect. Love that. Thank you. Okay, I feel like we've done a great job with our prioritization. I think we should.
Give Rebecca a raise, because she's got a lot to do.
Rebecca's gonna will you reorganize it by color? Do you think that's helpful, or what do you guys think?
I can do that.
Do you want to do that?
But that's gonna take away from who it's
Assigned to?
assigned to.
Okay, we can stay the way it is. That's fine. It doesn't really
Unless
matter.
Kaylee has some thoughts about that. But we can,
Kaylee, do you want to judge this up?
Yeah, I'll zhuzh this up. This
Okay.
is fine.
Okay.
Kaylee's gonna judge this up.
Perfect.
She's gonna
It's fine.
Eisenhower the bejesus out of this. Stacey
Can't
Abrams
wait.
likes to use that method too, which I learned at the Vermont Women's Fund. Anyway, okay, so I think we're good here. Should we sign some stuff?
yep.
Yes.
Great.
for it.
Can I stop sharing my screen now?
Yes.
I'm gonna leave it in.
Okay.
Don't be mad at me.
And this peanut gallery sign, cutely.
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you for being here.
Karen gets to go home. Do I get to go home?
Yeah.
We're assigning stuff.
We're signing stuff, no.
Yeah.
It's like when you go to the bathroom and your food shows up, you know?
Exactly.
Okay, what do we have here? We have accounts payable.
Move to approve accounts payable in the total of $117,393.76.
Second.
Does that mean there
Oh,
are two of them?
is that true? I don't think
No.
that's true.
No.
I didn't put it in there because there's only one of each. Sorry, that must
Oh,
have been
that's
the
old.
one.
Sorry.
Don't do that. Is that an 8?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh,
Move
right,
to
'cause we
approve
have
accounts
only
payable
one
in
week.
the sum of $68,897.33.
I second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Payroll.
It's the gross, the very first column on the first page.
Very first.
Underneath, near the names.
On the first page.
Good here.
First column.
It should say gross.
Does not.
It does,
Okay.
but wow, is that confusing?
20-ish thousand?
18?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Okay. Move to approve payroll in the amount of $18,850.50.
Sorry, what was the amount again?
$18,850.50.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
We have an application for a festival permit from Mad River Triathlon for Sunday, April 13th. Total maximum number of people, 400. They're requesting a permit for parking facilities. They plan to have food in the form of an aid station at the Warren School and a band. Band, food, and drinks at the after party are at Mount Ellen.
That's different than our usual.
I don't
For
think
them.
All they're asking
Because-
us are parking at Brooksfield and Mount Ellen, GMT shuttle between points. Use of the school's bathroom at the start.
they're doing aid station at the school, and then it's just shuttle.
Okay, so it's not
Mount
a
Ellen.
band and all that stuff
No,
here.
they
That's at
do
Mount
have
Ellen.
that on here, but it's at
Yeah.
Mount Ellen.
Okay.
So there isn't actually, and I'm gonna scratch out the band under entertainment. So it's just the use of parking at Brooksfield and an aid station.
That's what we usually do, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Do I have a motion
Fine.
to approve?
Motion to approve. Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye. If it's not one of us, it's the other, Carol. In case you can't tell who mumbled what.
There are only 2 lines, but I think it's fine, just sign under me, and Camilla can sign under that. Okay, that's it.
So the only other thing, so the Vermont Covered Bridge Society, has been, Governor Scott signed a proclamation, for their 25th anniversary and has designated August 2nd through 9th as Covered Bridge Week in Vermont. And the
Whose 25th anniversary?
the Covered Bridge Association's 25th anniversary. It's, okay, I don't know. They had a meeting last summer over there and I got to know this woman, Beth Brown Limmer. And they are, the Vermont Covered Bridge Society is creating a banner that towns can hang across their covered bridge during that Covered Bridge Week.
Nice.
It's $80 for the banner.
Nice.
I didn't know if we wanted to participate in that or not.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think.
What's the date again?
August 2nd through 9th.
I mean, it's high traffic,
Yep.
lots of people are here, good visibility. 25th anniversary?
It's the Covered Bridge Society's 25th anniversary.
Well,
What does the banner say?
So it's basically designating August 2nd through the 9th as Covered Bridge Week in Vermont.
Okay.
So
we'll
any
just
town
hang
that
it
has a
over
covered
the
bridge.
thing that people hit,
Correct.
so. Yeah.
Sure. It's
It'll be prettier than what we got, right?
And it's only $85, we can leave it up forever.
Oh, we have to take it down. But speaking of covered bridges, did you guys see on WCAX that I forget what town it was, but the tech center built this metal structure that goes in front of their covered bridge, so that instead of hitting the bridge, they hit this metal structure if they can't
I
fit.
love that.
I hate it. It's so
Well, it looks better than that orange
Really? I don't
thing that
Yeah.
was saying there. But yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
I've heard
cheap.
a motion to adjourn.
No, I'd like to
Are we
discuss
supposed
for
to
a
talk
little
about the
while.
covered bridge though? Can we talk about it next time?
What?
Whether we
Just
buy
that.
the sign? Is that what you want us to approve?
I think you just did.
Oh,
Yeah, I think we just did it.
I don't think,
Do
yeah.
we need to do a motion for that?
it's really expensive, it's $85.
I mean, we'll have it forever.
Go forth and buy the sign.
Cool.
I have heard
Second adjournment motion.
all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, everybody. We are-
Recording